Hi, I'm Melissa Glennie of Franklin Professional Associates. Today I want to talk with you about the legalization of marijuana and the implications that employers are dealing with in the workplace. Just to get started, I'd like to put some context around things so we can drill down to what we're really dealing with. And then I want to give you the top 3 things that you need to do as an employer to make sure you're keeping a consistently safe work environment for your employees while not infringing on anyone's individual rights. So first of all, usage is definitely on the rise, particularly among individuals who are 30 years of age or older. So far, 33 states in the United States have legalized the use of marijuana for recreational use. One has actually made it illegal for employers to discriminate against a potential employee on the basis of using marijuana either for medical or recreational use. And the industry is growing very rapidly. We're currently, I'm not in it, so I shouldn't say we, the cannabis industry is currently at about 7 billion in revenues. In the next 6 years, that's expected to rise to 25 billion. So you can see that there will be more cases of people using marijuana and potentially coming into a work environment within a time frame where they might still be under its influence. It's basically legal for an employee to be high when they arrive at work in these particular states. So if you're an employer that wants to make sure you're keeping a consistently safe work environment while not infringing on anyone's rights, I want to share those top 3 things with you that I recommend that you do. But first, I just want to say, thankfully, it's not the first time that we have dealt with this kind of situation where something that has been previously prohibited because it alters a person's state of being, state of mind, and then it became legal. So alcohol, of course, is widely accepted now, and in fact, it's accepted quite prevalently in the workplace. Refrigerators that are stocked with beer, holiday parties, occasional popping open a bottle of wine in the office on a Friday at 2, for example. So really the issue is not the particular substance, it's impairment. So you can see that the issue is really not about any particular substance. The issue is a question of impairment. Now there are 2 differences that I'll point out that I see between alcohol and marijuana, and that is that I think that simply the fact that alcohol has been widely accepted for a long time now, I think that our population is generally pretty attuned to recognizing impairment that comes as a result of alcohol, whereas with marijuana, it has not obviously been so widely accepted, and so we could say it's been maybe a bit more underground, and I just don't believe that the population has the same level of acuity in recognizing impairment from someone using marijuana. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into the 3 things that I recommend you do to help keep your work environment consistently safe. And the first is training. You need to have a process to ensure all of your employees are fit for duty. And to do that, you need to have training so that people can recognize when someone may not be fit. So ultimately the question is, well, one of the questions is, who is responsible to make sure everyone in the environment is fit for duty? And I'll give you the answer. The answer is everyone is responsible. So when you're training, you want to make sure of 2 things. Number 1, you're training people on how to recognize impairment, and number 2, they know what to do when they see something, hear something, smell something, hear something, whatever it might be. So there you also want to have someone who is accountable, and then you want to make sure you know how they're accounting. So that's a question of, when something is brought up, how is the person who's ultimately accountable for ensuring everyone is fit for duty? How do they go through the process of inquiry and validation? The next thing, that number 2, is when you are designing your training around this, I recommend not taking something off the shelf. You really want to go through your work environment and identify all of the specific hazards in your workplace. Then number 3, you can create a checklist. And this checklist needs to be things that demonstrate signs of impairment. So you make it really simple and really clear for everyone to be able to recognize any signs of impairment, and then they know, and then also follow up with making sure they're trained to know what to do, who to talk to. If you run a 24/7 operation or multiple shifts, make sure they know who to go to, and so that person can follow through with things from there. So in closing, will say I recommend that you roll this out sooner than later and keep everybody safe.